lot of stuff for activism and on, I don't know, I don't know if I follow you on Instagram. I follow you on Facebook, and I know you put he also puts up amazing pictures of food he cooks.
I should say that.
Or creates, which is amazing. So follow him to see his beautiful food creations.
Makes me hungry.
It was a shtick or a gimmick that I started during the first lockdown while I was exploring all this activist stuff and cooking a ton at home, and just still posting all these dishes on Instagram because it's not real if it's not posted on Instagram. But then I was adding on all these thoughts and topics of discussion, let it be the series finale of Suits or let it be a BLM protest, and it's just turned into a way of engaging people as if they were having dinner with me. And cool. It's just really been a great mental health thing for me. Yes, of course, I get the dopamine hits from the likes and all that, but it's surprising how many people you can reach when you just engage in voicing things. And like I said, like the scariest thing the racist devil did was get white people to stop talking about race. So the more white people talk about race, the more comfortable it is to face it. And a lot of my posts are tied to a thought or a thread of activism in a sort, and then that's just led to me being more and more aware, more comfortable myself. And then also on that note, I am the brown Squiggy, the _brown _Squiggy on Instagram. Might as well plug myself while I'm here.
Right on.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure. Do it. Yeah,
I like it.
Once lockdown and what have you comes back to normal, I'm not sure when this is going to get released and all that, I'm actually doing a POCnic in Prince Edward County, which is a POC focused picnic for the county, and there'll be performers, artists, vendors, food, and with all the struggles, the hate, the violence, the aggression that makes the news about anti-racism, it's going to be a space for people of color and their allies to come together and actually have a good time. Because for all the uncomfortableness, all the work, all the hate, all the tears, it'll be really nice to just gather in a field, have some music, and enjoy some good food. So there's a POCnic happening too.
Nice.
Right on.
That's
So clever.
POCnic.
I love that. That's awesome.
Well, you'll have to let us know, and we'll put it on our Book Interrupted accounts too, so that if people want to come that are in that neighborhood, they'll know when and where. If you're okay with us inviting the whole world, all the whole world that listens to us, everybody listens to us.
Yeah.
I'm based in Prince Edward County, and there is been a lot of oppression issues. The local newspaper printed an anti-trans ad unknowingly by a overly feminist women's group, which they got called out for. And then also a local restaurant turned away a person of color, saying that they had to have ID because of COVID rules, which is not true. And that person did not look like they need ID. It's just been really interesting to see the reaction of people, and the newspaper issued a proper apology and offered newspaper space to a handful of activist groups. And at the end of the day, while it is clear that the newspaper is making a gesture, let it be token or not, there's no reason to turn down an opportunity to reach more people. So regardless of what your audience is or how 46 different countries, I don't think Sarah, you and Senegal are going to make it to the POCnic, but I am not going to turn down an opportunity to get the word out. All right, well, I'll make a pack. We'll have a little meetup. All 7 of us are going to come to the POCnic.
Let's go.
We're showing up to the POCnic.
You should report live from it.
Yeah.
Reporting live
from the POCnic.
You can do interruptions too.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
I'm the MC and I'm programming the whole thing, so I'll be like, and here's some white ladies to talk about white fragility on stage to everybody.
No, thank you.
Please ask them really
We
hard
both just start
questions.
crying.
Watch them crumble.
We're
You're
crying
crying?
and feeling sorry for ourselves.
I know, and everybody comforts us, and we're like, no, no, don't pay attention.
We get local news coverage about, like our white sorrows. We're like, no, this has gone horribly wrong.
Oh no, no. Okay, fine, we might not be coming anymore. No.
Yeah.
We're not coming. I'm not coming.
Now that we've thought this out,
Book interrupted.
Hello, everyone. My interruption is just the sunshine. Who knew that it brought such happiness with its warmth? It's like a game changer. I'm a whole new person. I love it. So that's my interruption. Just being completely and utterly infatuated with the sunshine. Love you guys. Bye.
Book interrupted.
Was gonna say where I identified as my most the area that I think I have the most need, where I would be focusing my future efforts.
Sure.
And it's in the breaking of the white solidarity agreement or whatever, because that's hard, right? I like to be liked, right? I'm a people pleaser and all that stuff. So that is a heavy influence on me. And that was one of the things that was actually pretty impactful from the Me and White Supremacy, was that author says, white silence is violence. And when it was put to me in that way, I was like, whoa, like, I don't want to be part of perpetuating violence. And so that was the beginning of me realizing that this was an area that I should be reflecting on more frequently. And it hit particularly hard at that time because literally the day before, one of my coworkers had been blatantly racist. And I was like, whoa, they, that it took me back how openly and blatantly racist the statement that they made was, but I also didn't say anything in the middle of reading Me and White Supremacy, right? So I recognized that I should, and I didn't. And then, pages later, it's like, I got shame on you in the book, right? Because that book's not as nurturing as the White Fragility book, right? And I saw myself though, because I have the privilege to decide if I want to speak up or not, right? That's the hard thing. Being part of the privileged class is you get to choose if you want to participate. And it makes me feel, I guess, bad and guilty, but also even more responsible, because I know that I could choose the easier route and not say anything, and my life will be going on unaffected, except for my insides, that hold me accountable. So anyways, for the end of this podcast, I just wanted to make a statement into where I am going to focus my intention on the disruption of the white solidarity. I'm going to try to call it as I see it.
And then also, when you do call people out, choose how you're going to fight them and what result you're going to get. So for me, I work in kitchens. Kitchens are very misogynist. So when there is a sexist joke made, I can shut that down with a look. There'd be a time where I would chuckle and laugh and try to fit in, or there'd be a time where I just give a look and be like, that's not funny, dude. And just a simple silence and leaving a bad joke hanging in the air is a way of fighting the oppressions and stuff like that. So it doesn't have to be that you have to go on your soapbox and go toe to toe with every white person, because not every white person is going to react well to that. Majority of them won't react well to that. Yeah. But there is a balance of due diligence and knowing when you've at least said something and not participated. Even just the simplicity of not participating is a statement. Silence is participating.
Thank you for
I
saying
really
that.
appreciate you putting it in those terms, because that makes me feel safer too. I can forgive myself if I don't get on a soapbox, right? And I just give a look or something.
Also, your personal safety is at risk. I've had people DM me and give me the heads up about racist people in the county here, and they are afraid to call that person out. They're afraid to say things because it's a small community, it's a small town, and white people don't like being called racist. And
Oddly, as we found out.
Yeah. That totally ties into what I was going to say earlier. I've been trying to talk more about this book, and because I agree, that's my biggest thing is I'm just silent. I get uncomfortable and I don't participate, but I don't do anything. So I was like, okay, reading this book, I'm going to start talking about this book to people. I'm going to tell them I'm reading it. I'm going to bring up some ideas. And I would say at least 90% of the time, white people got very defensive. Like supremely defensive to the point where they're almost like yelling and getting agitated. I could see them sweating. And
I'm one of the good ones.
Yeah, exactly. And then they would say, well, why the theories don't work, and why, oh, well, now no matter what you say, it means that I have to believe this, because if you say that I don't believe it, then I'm racist. If I say, like all this stuff. And so that's actually really hard to deal with too, because you're trying to do something and trying to like have this open conversation in a calm environment, and everybody just gets all like, no, not me. Well, somebody else, and this, and I'm defensive, and that's wrong, and you're wrong, and our society isn't racist, and it's not made for white people. And you're like, well, look at it, like. So
or even what Leah said too, right? Like Leah said how naming off all the reasons why you're not. Like I like also
naming off all the people of color I've fucked. Yeah. I was like, good for you.
I just posted a thing about how I've been fetishized by various girls on Tinder.
It was me. It's me on Tinder.
It's me.
Anyway.
I like the way that the author puts it when she addresses the woman in the seminar who retells a story that ultimately has a good moral, but she does a stereotypical kind of personification or caricature of an angry Black woman. And she's just really, I don't know what the word would be to describe the way she does it, but it seems like her technique does not invite defensiveness. It gives the person she's trying to invite to consider maybe not telling that story in that way. So it gives the white person a lot of opportunity to still feel like in control, like not totally bad, even though that person still didn't respond well and was going to quit the seminar. But
I think what she said was, I am offering you a teachable moment. All I ask is that you accept it openly, or whatever like that, or try to keep an open mind. Right. Or something like that. I love that part too. I wrote it down.
Yeah, because she originally was like, I invite you to consider not telling that story in that way the next time you share it or whatever, right? And I just thought like that's really I don't know, delicate, right? It's a good, like, and I mean, people can, another thing too is you can always default back to, you can only do what your best efforts is, and people are going to respond how they respond. How they respond is not your responsibility, really, right? Just
engaging in those conversations, you will get better at them, and it'll get more comfortable, and then you'll be able to deflect, and also you'll recognize this is where I'm going to invest more time and more effort, or this is where, you know what, I'm going to back off because that person is not worth my time.
Whether that, like Meredith's book choice coming up next is nonviolent communication, right? Yeah. And so I wonder, I know that there's talk that it's kind of tone policing, so we'll see about that, but that also that's going to be maybe a useful tool in having these discussions.
But yeah, it's just interesting because it helps you reflect on your own feelings and someone else's feelings, and it's all about trying to perspective taking rather than defensiveness, rather than fragility.
Right. Feels a good
segue.
Path we're on, yeah. To the next thing.
So I'm gonna say thank you. Engaging in this book and actually seeing the simplicity of one of my random posts have led to this point, to that I actually see you white people doing work within your own life. Like, you guys are going beyond just reading the book. You're engaging with old friends, you're engaging with your children, you are even at times during these recordings shedding tears, but they're tears of self-reflection. They're not tears of attention. They're not tears of woe is me. So I considered and I questioned what value I get out of coming on here. And seeing that from a simple Instagram post, that it's led to a path to where all of you in separate ways are working anti-racism work within your own life. And that's the thing. Like, I can't punch Trump in the face, but I can control what happens in my kitchen. We all want to punch a Nazi, but that white savior idea is false. What we can do is work on anti-racism in our lives, with our family, with our coworker, with how we engage with people. And I actually see that more in the stories that you told during these recordings than in what we talked about in the book.
Thank you for coming on. It was really, really lovely to have you, and such a nice, different perspective from, 6 white women to have a male and a person of color on and to talk about this. So we really, really appreciate that you came on. Thank you very much.
If you've enjoyed these video highlights, listen to the full episode on our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember to like and subscribe and ring that bell to be notified when new episodes are published. Find out more by going to www.bookinterrupted.com.
Book Interrupted.